Welcome back everybody to another Football Manager 2024 rebuild. Today our attention turns to a struggling Wolverhampton Wanderers, and after 22 games in the English Premier League currently find themselves just outside the relegation zone. Of course, on this rebuild I want to be as realistic as possible. I don't expect to go from relegation candidates to high flying at the top of the league, challenging for some sort of Champions League football. That is not realistic at all, to say the least. But anyway, let's get over to FM24 now. Let's have an overview look at the team, have a look what needs to be improved, what kind of players need to leave this football club, and hopefully get Wolves back on the up. So day one at Wolves, and the media prediction for the Premier League is for us to establish a mid-table finish. And in both the other domestic competitions, they want us to be competitive, so both very, very much achievable. When we first get into the squad now and have a look at some of our key players and who is really going to stand out for us this year. And the first player we are going to talk about is Matheus Cunha. Can play out wide, left, right in that cam role, but he is going to be a striker for us this year. Really, really good attributes, good current ability and a 4-star potential ability. So nearing his peak, but overall probably Wolves' best player. The next one up is Pablo Sarabia, formerly of PSG. He's going to be playing out on the wide right for us. Some really, really good stats on there. 4-star current ability. We don't expect for him to improve much more, especially at 31 years of age, but a very, very good player for the first season. The last two players we are going to look at are both in the middle of the park, but the first one being João Gomes, 22 years of age, Brazilian, coming in from Flamengo. Very, very good stats all round, combative, really, really aggressive centre midfielder. We look forward to seeing what this guy's got to offer. And the second player is Andre, coming in from Fluminense, and he's a very, very good centre midfielder, very well rounded, another combative midfielder, but once again, probably one of our better players at the club. We are going to try and play on the front foot this year, but there's definitely some gaps that need to be filled. So with that being said, we know we're lacking at centre-half, and we've only really got 3 centre-halves, but they're not really the sort of quality or the calibre that we need for the way we want to play. So we definitely need to improve in centre-half. But nonetheless, we're still looking very, very good at left-back with Ryan Ait-Nouri. Full of potential, looks like a really good player. And on the right, Nelson Semedo at 29 years of age, but still has a lot to offer. So I feel we're in safe hands with Jose Sarr in goal. Some top quality wing backs. Our 3 centre midfielders are very, very strong. And the same goes for our front 3 with Guedes, Sarabia and Cunha leading the line. Financially at Wolverhampton, we are in a very, very good place, and we have a transfer budget of £20 million. And to keep the rebuild as realistic as possible, we are only going to be buying players that our scouts find, nothing else. Who can they get their eye on? Can we get some superstars coming into this club, and can we get them away from the relegation zone and hopefully keep building towards the future? And as previously said, we know we need centre-backs, so one of the players we are going to be looking at is Pascal Struijk from Leeds United. And the other player our scouts are very, very impressed with is Arnel Ahmedhodzic. Can we bring 1, if not 2, centre-halves into the team? So now we have an understanding of this Wolves team. We know what the board expects us to do. We know what sort of money we got to play with. And most of all, we know the areas we definitely need to improve. So let's plod this along nicely now. I'll bring you back at the start of the season with hopefully a couple of transfers, and we'll see if we are ready for the upcoming season. So just before the season now gets underway, we have brought in a couple of signings. A couple of players have left the club, but it hasn't changed the season preview. Still expected to finish in mid-table. The first player to go out from Wolves this season is Totti. Wasn't really going to feature for us. Still young, still can improve, but not really ready for the Premier League just yet. So he's gone on loan to Vallecano for a season with an option to buy. The only other noticeable player to go out was from our youth team, Luke Cundle, going out on loan to Swansea City. He is paying us a loan fee of £43,500 a month, but they have an option to buy him as well for £2.5 million. We know we needed to improve at centre-half, so we did bring in Ahmedhodzic, coming in from Sheffield United for £8 million. Comes in, offer us is a little bit of cover in the centre-half position, When we say cover, he is going to be starting for us. You know, he's 6'3", he's big, he's strong, very, very well rounded. Hopefully he can have a very, very good season for us and fire us away from danger. And we did get our second defender. Now, both of these guys were highly rated by our scouts, and we have previously discussed we're only going to be buying people that our scouts are finding to keep this as realistic as possible. So we welcome in Pascal Struijk from Leeds United. Did cost us 21.5 million. We paid 12 million pounds up front, and the rest is in bonuses and add-ons. But a very, very impressive player, and he's a really, really solid all-round defender. So we've got two very, very good centre halves. So there are a few adjustments now to the team, but overall the first 11 is looking very, very good, with some good options to come off the bench. The likes of Hwang Hee-chan, the likes of Bellegarde, and also Goncalo Guedes when he is back from injury. But you can see our two centre-backs are starting, Struijk on the left centre and Ahmed Hodzic on the right. But the team looks really, really good now from front to back. So as we go through this rebuild, we know there is still work to be done. We could do with a world-class centre-half, but with only 20 million, we've done what we could in that position. We could do with another deep-line playmaker, and could most definitely do with another striker. But as we want to keep this as realistic as possible, if we get offers for the likes of Cunha, for our goalkeeper Sarr, for Ait Nouri, we're going to listen to them offers. If the price is right, we will sell, and we'll look to reinforce as and when we need to and spend the money accordingly. So with all the signings done, it's time to kick the season off. Wolverhampton Wanderers starting their campaign at home against Tottenham Hotspur. The board expect us to get a mid-table finish. Let's just consolidate our place in the league. We'll come back at the end of the season. So we arrive back at the end of the season, and what a season it has been. We didn't expect to get anywhere near the European places. We've played levels above of what we're capable of, but we managed to get ourselves a 5th place finish. And with that 5th place finish, it's an extra £31 million in the bank. And with them extra funds and Europa League football confirmed, we have a whopping £103 million in the transfer budget. Throughout the Premier League campaign, we did pick up some very impressive results, beating Tottenham at Molineux by 2-1, beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge by 3-0, and travelling to the Etihad, getting a 2-2 draw. In both domestic cups, we did get knocked out in the third round to Newcastle United, and the same goes for the Carabao Cup. Newcastle, our arch nemesis, knocking us out in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. As we would have expected, Matheus Cunha chipping in with 13 goals and 6 assists, having an absolutely superb season. But also we have to leave some plaudits to Guedes, getting himself 13 goals, 4 assists, and having an absolutely superb time this year. So with our squad playing levels above what they're supposed to and getting that European football here at Molineux, and with that £102 million to spend, we're going to have to spend it very, very wisely unless we can get a few players out of the club. With Strand Larsen's loan coming to an end and returning to Celta Vigo, it definitely need a brand new striker. And without doubt, we know there is still room for improvement in the centre-half position. As we head in to what could be a very, very busy summer transfer window, Cunha is wanted by Leeds United, but it is going to take a very, very special amount of money to pry him away from Wolverhampton. And the same goes for Ahmed Hodzic, wanted by Luton Town. But I dare say, as we head in to the summer months, we will have a few offers for some of our players that have played out of their skin this year. But if the offer is right, we will listen to offers for all players. So with European football now on the cards here at Wolverhampton for next year, we're going to need to have some very, very good squad depth. Players are going to leave the club. We've got £102 million to spend. We're going to have to spend that wisely. We need to strengthen accordingly. So it has been a very busy transfer window indeed. Plenty of players in, plenty of players also leaving the football club. And with all those moves done, we've managed to move up one place. We are no longer expected to finish in 11th position, but 10th. It is progress. Looking at the board expectations, they would like us to once again achieve a mid-table finish in the Premier League. And there's a bit of a shock in there. We thought we was getting Europa League, but with the coefficient places going our way, we've managed to get ourselves somehow into the Champions League, but I probably don't expect to get much further than potentially a playoff round. We'll have to see how we fare. But on the other two domestic cup competitions, they would like this year for us to reach the quarter-final of both of them, which I think with the squad we've put together is very, very possible. Now, we did have £102 million to spend, and we have done that wisely, but we've also brought in a lot of money from players leaving the football club. So let's have a look at some of the outs first. Starting off with Ahmed Hodzic, did bring him in last year for £8 million. We've nearly doubled the amount for the sell-on. He has gone to West Ham, didn't really perform as much as I would have liked him to. So I'm happy to move him on. We've cashed in, we've got some decent money for him. That brings us to Matt Doherty, wing-back right, 32 years of age, not going to improve, and I thought now was the right time to get rid of him. He was on £50,000 a week. He's gone for a new challenge in Alaves, and we still managed to get £3.4 million for him. Totti has now left on a permanent, going to Genoa for £2.6 million after a relatively average loan spell at Vallecano last season. Happy to cash in. He wasn't ever going to feature, wasn't really going to get into our first team. So a little bit of cash in and a little bit of wages back into our team. Chiquinho come back from a loan spell as well, and we've managed to move him on for £1.3 million to Mainz 05. Wasn't really going to feature once again. Decent Premier League player at 2 stars, but with the kind of players we've bought in, this guy really was surplus to requirements. Up next is Sasa Kaladzic. We loaned him out last year, but looking at this, he had a decent loan spell, getting himself 21 goals in 34 games for Eibar, and we managed to move him on, get a handsome amount of money on him of 6.75, although we did bring him in for 15.25 from Stuttgart not too long ago, but he wasn't really going to feature for us in the first team. We freed up some wages, and we have moved this guy on. The last most notable player to leave the club is Kai Yana Hoeva, I'm not too sure how you pronounce that. He's leaving the club, had a decent spell at Auxerre and had a few short-term loans as well at PSV and Stoke. But we decided to move him on and we cashed in £7.5 million. Cannot moan from that. He is very versatile, but I thought the money they were offering, it was too good to turn down. But as you've probably noticed, we've moved on a fair amount of players, which did of course free up some transfer budget, free up some wage budget, and we've invested that accordingly, and we've only bought in the players that our scouts recommended to us. Let's have a look at them now. The first player we've bought in is a hugely recommended player by our scouts. They wanted to bring him in, and we welcome in Michael Elise. Coming in from Bayern Munich, only spent 1 season there, didn't feature too often for him. Bayern paid a fortune for him. We paid £25 million up front, and it's £25 million in add-ons and bonuses, which he probably won't be able to achieve. But Michael Elise coming in can play all across the attacking midfield, very much bow-footed, very, very good player to bring in, offers us that extra quality, especially now we're playing in the Champions League. With Strand Larsen moving back to Celta Vigo after his loan spell, and we've sold Kaladzic, we needed another player that can play out wide left, out wide right, and up front, and we bring in Johan Visser from Brentford. We all know what he's all about. Cost us £23.5 million. That was 12.5 up front, and once again the rest of it on bonuses and add-ons. But we all know what Johan Visser is all about. He's pacey, his work rate off the ball is fantastic, but also he knows where the goal is. Class as a good Premier League player, and definitely offers us some good depth to this team. So really happy with the signing of Johan Visser. We did move on at Sam Johnston and Daniel Bentley for very, very small fees, so it left us a little bit short in the goalkeeper department. So we brought in Dennis Seaman, coming in from VfB Stuttgart, £7.25 million, really, really good player. His potential is off the charts. Very, very good backup keeper. We have still got Jose Sarr, but this kid over the next couple of years is really going to put a bit of pressure on for that first team place, and we're only paying him £25,000 a week. We could well have a superstar goalkeeper on our hands in Dennis Seaman. The last couple of players we did bring in are both centre halves, and we are going to talk about first Emmanuel van der Black. Very, very good potential. only cost us £9 million from PSV. He's got some really good stats on there, crazy potential, but for 19 years of age we can expect him to grow a hell of a lot more over the next few seasons. Everybody welcoming Nikola Milenkovic. This guy was an absolute mountain at Nottingham Forest. We know what he's all about. 6'5". His strength is off the charts. His jumping reach is crazy. Not only is he going to defend like an absolute Spartan, we also know he's going to score some goals from set pieces. Like we said, 6'5", can jump, can head. This guy is going to be an absolutely superb signing for us. Did cost us 39.5 million, but most of that was in instalments as well, so we've got ourselves a bit of a bargain in my opinion. Just shy of 40 million for a player of this quality, only 26 years of age. He could be one of our players that's going to lead us to absolute glory here at Wolverhampton Wanderers. I did forget to mention a couple of players here, which feel a little bit silly about. We have brought in James Justin. Now, Leicester didn't have a great season last year. We've managed to get him for a snippet price of £12.75 million. Can play pretty much anywhere across the back four, and at only 26 we're going to get a good few years out of this player, and he was a bargain. And the last player, I don't know how I forgot him, was Tyler Adams, coming in from Bournemouth. £26 million. They've made a small profit on him of £3 million. We wanted a little bit more quality in there, so with that being said, really happy to welcome Tyler Adams into this football team. But look at them stats, look at them numbers. He's going to be full of energy, full of power, full of pace. Definitely going to be able to do a job for us in the middle of the park. So that is our team for the season. Money well spent, but we've also managed to recoup a lot of money from players being sold. Sarri in goal, Aitanuri at left back, Semedo at wing back right, and brand new centre half partnership of Stroke and Milenkovic. We've got Andre, João Gomez, Tyler Adams in the middle of the park. We've got Guedes on the left, Olise on the right, Cunha up top. But coming away from the first 11 now, we can see quality on the bench. We can see quality in reserve. The likes of Sarabia, Vissa, Lamina, Van der Black on the bench. And not only that, returning from a loan spell, we have Fabio Silva. All these players are going to have a part to play in this current season now. So with all that business finalised, plenty of quality coming in, the Deadwood leaving the club, we're about to kick off the second season. There's a hell of a lot of trophies to play for. Man City is the opening game. If we can just maintain a top 10 position, maybe bring home a little bit of silverware, whether that's an FA Cup or Carabao Cup, we've got a lot to look forward to here at Wolves. So the team has received massive reinforcements. We look quality. The only question is now, can we deliver? Let's simulate this on now, and we'll come back at the end of the second season. So arriving back at the end of the season, and another fantastic year for Wolverhampton Wanderers, managing to maintain their European qualification, finishing in 4th and guaranteeing Champions League football. In the Champions League, we did manage to go through to the playoffs, getting that 17th place finish, which of course meant a knockout playoff round against Porto, where ultimately Wolves did come out on top over the two legs by 6-1. Unfortunately, our journey did come to an end against Inter Milan, losing 4-2 on aggregate across both legs. In the FA Cup, we did meet board expectations and get to the quarter-final, but it was a bridge too far, travelling to Stamford Bridge and unfortunately losing by 1-0. However, in the Carabao Cup, we did get through to the final, some big wins along the way, but ultimately falling short to Liverpool at Wembley by 2-1. Throughout the course of the season, we did pick up some big results, ultimately helping us to that 4th position, beating Chelsea at home by 1-0, beating a rival in Aston Villa at Villa Park, and Manchester United didn't fare much better, coming to our ground, us coming out on top by 3-1. So some smashing results across the course of the season, but with Fabio Silva returning from his loan spell for this year, he's done very well indeed. 27 goals in 43 games. I think we found our new star striker. Since Michael Olise's arrival from Bayern Munich at the start of the season, 47 games, 17 goals, 16 assists. It's been an absolutely superb debut season for him. But of course, other players' performances can't be overlooked. The likes of Cunha with 14 goals and 7 assists. And Sarabia chipping in with 10 goals, 14 assists. but unfortunately his time is now drawing to a close here at Wolves. He's had a contract and we are going to release him. He's on £110,000 per week. He's starting to decline physically, and I think at 33 years of age it's time to move this guy on. So at the end of the second season, Wolves getting themselves European football once again in the Champions League. Maybe they can go a step further next year. Could they even dare to dream of reaching a quarter-final and potentially even winning a domestic trophy? Looking at the squad now, there's definitely room for improvement. Like we said, with Sarabia leaving, our right-hand side is looking a little bit thin. The same goes for the left-hand side. So we're definitely going to be looking at potentially a couple of new wingers. And also, we definitely need to strengthen in the centre-half position. So with nearly £75 million to spend in the summer, it's going to be a busy window. We've got plenty of players that are wanted. We could see a few of our key players leave. But it's about how we replace these people. We need the quality, we need the depth. Could we dare to dream of ending this Wolverhampton rebuild, bringing home a trophy, whether it be an FA Cup, whether it be a Carabao Cup, we will take it. So with £75 million to spend, let's go shopping. I'll bring you back at the start of season number 3. I'm pretty sure there's going to be plenty of ins and also plenty of outs. So we're back at the start of season number 3 and the season preview for Wolverhampton Wanderers. They are predicting us a 9th place finish. So once again, year after year, we are seeing slight progression. The board expectations for the upcoming season, they would like us to get a top half finish in the Premier League, which I think that is very much doable, especially with the sort of quality we have through the door this season. In the Champions League, they would like us to be competitive, and we did that last year, and I think we can do it again this season. Can we potentially get a step further? Could we dare to dream of a quarter-final in the Champions League? In both the domestic cup competitions, the board would like us to reach the quarter-final of the FA Cup and reach the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. But if this is to be the final season of this rebuild, we can be certain to say Wolves are in a very good place on and off the field, and if we can deliver a nice little bit of silverware, bonus for you Wolverhampton fans. So we are going to talk about the transfers in and out over the summer, and the first player to leave the club was Hwang Hee-chan, and we received a whopping £38 million from Leeds United. Did feature a little bit for us last year, but at 29 years of age, I think it was the right time to move this guy on, and we've got an absolute boatload of money for him as well. The second player to leave the club was Mario Lemina. Now, we did get £2.5 million for him. He was due to leave on a free transfer, so we managed to shift him out in the middle of March. At least we've recouped a little bit of money for him. His stats-wise on there, he's okay, but we need to improve, especially if we're going to win a trophy. The third player we was to move on was Pascal Struijk. Now, we did bring him in from Leeds United a couple of seasons ago for £21.5 million. But we've managed to turn a small profit on him, selling him for £22.5 million to Brighton and Hove Albion. And overall, he had a decent time here at Wolverhampton, but we needed to improve at centre-half. There has been a few more players to leave the club, but this is the last noticeable one. Hugo Bueno going out on loan to Huddersfield Town. Maybe next year he could have a part to play in the team, but we'll have to see. But at this moment in time, not really the levels we're looking for, especially in that left back area. The first player we have bought through the door is Radu Dragusin, top class centre half, the 23-year-old Romanian, 3.5 star current ability, 4-star potential, but he brings in absolute quality through the door here at Wolverhampton. Costing us £55 million, so Tottenham getting a little bit of profit on this guy. We've paid about £30 million up front and £25 million over instalments and bonuses. But I think it was imperative we improved at centre-half, and this guy definitely offers us some extra quality. What we didn't mention was Sarabia has now left the club on a free transfer. We were short in the wide areas, so we welcome in Matoma from Brighton and Hove Albion. These cost us £34 million, but in my opinion, an absolute bargain. Can play out wide left, can play out wide right. Not really going to improve much according to our scouts, but I think coming in, a player of this quality, he's got Premier League experience. He's definitely going to have a good contribution to the season this year. And this player coming in now, Abakar Silla, the 22-year-old Ivorian international, cost us a whopping fee of £99 million. It's about £40 million up front and the rest over bonuses and in instalments. And some of the targets I don't really think he's ever going to hit, which is ideal for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But look at them stats on there, a real leader on and off the field, and he's going to be an absolute mountain at centre half. And now we've got the quality of Dragusin, we've got Silla, we've got Milenkovic, we've got some real power and real quality in depth. And the final player through the door here at Wolverhampton Wanderers was Rooney Bardry, I think that's how you pronounce it, coming in for a very, very small fee of £24.5 million. The scouts couldn't get enough of him. He was wanted by some of the biggest teams in Europe, but he's opted to come over here to Wolves. Look at them stats, look at them numbers. For 19 years of age, Swedish international, we really have got a world beater on our hands. Can he potentially lead us to our first trophy? With the season now about to get underway, we can see your first team. Silver up top, absolutely clinical striker for us last year. Matoma on the left, Badri on the right, Gomez, Adams, Andre still keeping them 3 places in the middle of the midfield. And we've got a new look defence with Ait Nouri, Silla, Dragusin, Semedo and Sarr still retaining his position in goal. Not only the first 11 here at Wolves are looking absolutely superb, there's some real strength in depth on the bench and in reserve. The likes of Johan Vissa, we've got Matheus Cunha, we've got Elise, Milenkovic, Seaman. This team over the past 3 years really has grown quality and depth. So in we go now to the third season. We've got a lot of quality now within our ranks. Could we see Wolverhampton get their hands on some silverware? Let's stimulate this on now and I'll bring you back at the end of the season. So we get back at the end of season number 3 and we couldn't just quite make it into the top 4. Arsenal pipping Wolverhampton by 1 point, so ultimately finishing in Europa League spaces. In the Carabao Cup we did make it through to the semi-final, but we wasn't quite good enough over 2 legs. Newcastle winning by 5 goals to 2. But we did get to the FA Cup final where we took on Middlesbrough and we took the lead with a header courtesy of Dragusin. But then, just approaching the hour mark, they get the rub of the green. Borges gets the ball on the edge of the box, drives forward, strikes it. Paul Gark, goalkeeping there, ties it up at 1-1. Then against the run of play, Middlesbrough managed to get themselves into a very, very slender 2-1 lead. It's nice, intricate play by Middlesbrough. They find Jones, puts it into the top corner, 2-1 Middlesbrough. We had to find a way to get back into the game. Now we did require a moment of magic to get back into the tie, and João Gomez gets the ball back, finds Cunha, drives the ball forward there, strikes it, hits the post, and who's there to equalise? It is Rooney to put it in, 2-2. And that was the last action of the 90 minutes, and extra time was scarce of goals, so that could only mean one thing: it was a penalty shootout. It come down to sudden death. Zikia stepping up for Middlesbrough. He needed to score or it was advantage to us. Strikes it, saved by Seaman, and that means now from the spot we did have a chance. Up step the youth player. Can he score this goal? He steps up, he strikes it and he put it home for the winning moment. And that being said, Wolves bringing home the first trophy of the season, lifting that FA Cup high. In the Champions League, we did finish in the top 8, getting that 7th place finish, meaning we were straight through to the round of 16, where we took on Borussia Dortmund, a very, very difficult tie, coming out on top over the 2 legs with an aggregate win of 4 goals to 3. In the quarter-final, however, I didn't think we would get much further, but our Wolverhampton players all come together and got us a victory over both the legs, beating Napoli. We did get through to the semi-final and we had a very, very nice draw. It could have been Real Madrid, it could have been Bayern, but it was RB Leipzig and we managed to get the win. We did win it overall, 2 goals to 1 over the 2 legs. And against all expectations, it means a place in the UEFA Champions League final. And it was Real Madrid that got off to the better start. Musiala driving into the box, slotting it home, giving Real Madrid an early 1-0 lead. However, into the 77th minute, we get a break of the ball. João Gomez driving forward, finds Cunha, finds a bit of space in the box. Elise was there, puts it home, ties it up. All still to play for in this Champions League final. Then with Real Madrid really showing their quality, Musiala putting the ball to the edge of the box, Mendy strikes it, maybe the goalkeeper could have done a little bit better, but they strike Real Madrid back into the lead. Now from a corner, Doyle whips one in. It was initially cleared, Dragusin was in there, the ball bounces to Vissa, and with a superb strike, the scores are once again level 2-2 with only 4 minutes to play. And with the game now closing towards the end, a disastrous mistake at the back. Hendrick manages to score what was the winning goal. Disaster, despair for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but absolutely delight for Real Madrid. So what a season it turned out to be in the end, getting a solid 5th place finish in the Premier League. Runners up in the Champions League, unfortunately missing out to Real Madrid. But in the FA Cup, bringing home a massive bit of silverware. The first piece of silverware for Wolverhampton in a long time. I'm sure the fans will be very, very pleased. Another superb season for Fabio Silva, picking himself up 21 goals. Rooney Badri having an absolutely mammoth first season. 16 goals, 11 assists, and probably one of the best players now at this football club. That squad there on your screen is definitely turning into a world-class outfit from front to back, from sub to the reserves, quality through this entire Wolverhampton team. So the third season has seen Wolverhampton finally bring home some silverware, a fantastic FA Cup, a Champions League final which was to be dreamed of, unexpected, but I tell you what, we will take it. Consistent European football back here at Molineux. I'm sure the board are loving it. I'm sure the Wolverhampton fans are loving it. And I tell you what, guys, I will have this save available for you guys to continue. And I'll put the link down in the description. You've got some superb players at your disposal. Can you keep on building this Wolves team? There's plenty of money to spend. There's about £100 million in the transfer budget. Can you carry on this side? Can you bring Wolves a Premier League trophy, a Champions League trophy, or maybe many more domestic cups? So absolutely a perfect place to leave it for you guys to carry this on. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's all free and it's all greatly appreciated. But anyway, guys, until next time, take care of yourselves and I will see you all soon.